So basically, on either side of the front steps, I have lavender. I've got it on this side, and I've got it on this side. And year-round, it is beautiful to have because, as you can see, this color is going to stay all winter. And then in the spring, the buds start. All summer, you've got lavender. Smells so good. The bees love it and swarm it. And there's at least, I've caught, well, I haven't caught them. I've seen at least 3 different types of bees on these plants. It's wonderful. And I got my little fall display. It's early November. Have you decorated for Christmas yet? There are people decorating for Christmas. I am not there yet. I am enjoying the gourds. It is still fall to me. All right, so let's look at this bed. So here, like I said, we've got the Lavender Phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful. This you can tell I trimmed back in the daytime. It is so much nicer. I mean, look at the better job I did here. That is nice. I did a good job. I trimmed the lavender on this side of the foundation beds in early September, and that gave it time to grow, and that's why the color is so pretty, and it just looks healthier. You don't really see some of the gray down here of the older stems. What you see is healthy new growth. This is the lavender that I just pruned back last week. And as you can see some of the older gray stems. There's still a lot of nice, healthy, vibrant color, and the weather is still kind of warm in the daytime, so I do hope to get a little bit more growth on these. And so the winter colors should be just fine. But normally, I would prune all of these back in early September. So this is nice to see. I love the little sprouts. I love Candytuft. If it did better in the other beds, and I actually planted it in other beds, I had to rip it out, I would have kept this and planted it everywhere. So this is my fun evergreen bed because next to the Lavender Phenomenal is a Japanese Helleri that is happy, happy, happy. Let me go down here so you can actually see. Grown pretty tall. I don't know how well it translates on the camera because the sun is doing some funky things right now. But it's beautiful, and I just love the difference in textures and colors. And by the way, in this bed I did the same thing. I'm going back to talk to you about the lavender here, is I did plant some other lavender interspersed with the older lavender. Next to the Japanese Helleri are 2 shrubs I love. You've got the Kramer's Red Winter Heath, and again the sun is doing some funky things, at least as I'm looking at it through the camera, so I apologize if you see that on this video. But the Kramer's Red Winter Heath, again, I've got to put a picture here to show you. In the wintertime, it's a showstopper. You can see the flower buds on it. Let me get down here so you see them better. Oh my goodness. Look what I found back here. Okay, you see this pink? That is a hint of what's to come, and it's only early November. The pink turns magenta, turns gorgeous. And it will be like this from now through April. It's early November. By December, it'll have a pinkish cast to it, a little bit of magenta, depending on the weather. I mean, I've not seen the pink this early. You know, you got it right there, whereas most of the other buds are still bud-like. And behind that is another gorgeous blue Star Juniper and another one of my favorite rocks. And behind that, you see all that brown on the ground is from this guy. He's starting to shed his leaves, and this is another Japanese ornamental maple. And that vine growing on the ground there is a weed. And the clover underneath is a weed. Yeah, we'll be getting those. Look how pretty the stems of this look. Even though the Leaves have already fallen off of those. They look really, really nice. Boy, this tree is nice. The only thing I ever have to do with this tree, by the way, is I just trim it up from the bottom a little bit in the springtime. That's it. Easy. Back over here, I almost left this out, is a beautiful Hinoki Cypress. Let's, how can I get this whole thing in for you? Isn't that pretty? The color on this one is just beautiful. Look at that pretty color. Obviously that's an evergreen. It stays gorgeous. I'm going to go up here to kind of show you too. Get a better shot of the Euonymus here. When you have variegated Euonymus like this is, if you ever get something like this all white, kind of yellowish, pale cream, just cut that out. No need to keep it. Sometimes you'll see something all green as well. Just cut those out. No big deal. Try to keep these trimmed below the window. Birds, again, love these because of all the seeds, well, all the berries rather. Like there's some right there. See that? And that'll only get better and better. So again, I like the juxtaposition of this beautiful Hinoki Cypress with the orangish Ornamental Maple, the variegated Euonymus. And this is all just greens, you know? We're talking no flowers. And again, you can see, I'm over now on the other side from the Hinoki Cypress. But you can see on this side again, you've got the almost the burnt tips. And again, that's from the salty winds from Tropical Storm Isaias, whatever, that tropical storm. But it's really pretty, nonetheless. And again, I am in love with the way these branches are. It looks so pretty. When everything falls, we'll see if that happens this year. We don't know. And then down here on the corner, right by the edge of the bed, is a beautiful blue Star Juniper. This is an older one, and you can see as they grow, see how they develop just neat shapes? Just really cool. I absolutely love this plant, as you could probably tell, because I think I have it in almost every bed. And if I don't, I plan on adding it, because it's just an easy pop of color. It takes brutal sun, rain, wet, dry. It's really pretty. So over here is a plant I added about a year ago. And this is a juniper. I lost the plant tag. I'm so upset. I think it's a blue Pacific juniper. I think. I am not 100%. This grows more shrubby than other blue Pacific junipers I have, which is why I'm not sure if that's what this is. I just know that it was this interesting shrubby mounding growth that it caught my eye and my husband's eye when we were at the nursery and bought this. Isn't that beautiful? It's also very soft. It maintains this color year-round. And as a final, this would be the final thing I want to tell you about this plant, but also the only con about this plant, if you've got pros and cons. The pandemic rabbits, as I like to call them, that eat anything, were eating this year. It's ridiculous. Luckily, they didn't apparently like it too much, so it stayed okay. So I used to have a ton of daylilies here, but those got to be really kind of unwieldy. I really didn't like them after the initial bloom. Even though I deadheaded them and got the seed heads, got rid of the seed heads, it just didn't provide color I liked, so dug all those up and put this here instead, which I really love. So what would I do with this bed? I'll tell you, the thing I would do with this bed and what I want to do with this bed is I definitely want more flowers. The lavender in the summer is a showstopper. Everyone asks me about it. The funny part is some people will say they love it, but they don't want to deal with the bees. And my attitude is the bees don't bother you. They don't want you. What the bees want is the lavender. So I've gone in here, I've stuck my hands in here, and you don't ever have to worry about the bees. In the springtime, there will be little muscari bulbs down here by the Candytuft, as well as miniature daffodils. I plant tete-a-tetes there. And I planted some larger daffodils as well. But I'm going to have to get a little bit more color. And I can do that over time. I'm not that concerned about it. But here's this bed from a distance. It's very pretty. Sun's a little bit bright on parts of it, so hopefully it doesn't white it out too much in this video. But you just, again, have a lot of different color and texture. I mean, you've got the orange of the Ornamental Maple, you've got the darker greens of the Heather and the Japanese Helleri, you've got the blues of the blue Star Juniper and the Lavender. And of course, after I tell you about all those plants, I can't resist also mentioning that you have the dependable greenish blue of this unnamed juniper that we think is blue Pacific, but not sure. And then, of course, another blue Star Juniper back there. In the spring, all of the empty space you see here, I'll put a picture up so you can see it's all daffodils, and it's so pretty. So what I need to do is where those daffodils are in the springtime, I need to fill those in with summer blooming plants. And I'll do it. I'll get there. The first thing that I like to do is just develop a foundation, no pun intended that these are foundation beds. But it's good to develop a foundation with evergreens. They sort of anchor the bed, and then you can start to dress it with some perennials and annuals. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of our foundation beds in the front yard. I really am loving seeing how everything looks in the fall. And again, this is a time when not many things are blooming, but it's always fun to see what things look like. And I encourage you to do that in your own gardens. Take a closer look at what's green, even what's brown. Those colors can be pretty, and you can add other plants this coming spring to emphasize those shades. And look at that weed back there that I gotta get. Oh yeah. Anyway, until next time, thank you so much. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, and please consider subscribing because there'll be much more of this coming soon.